Hi, and welcome to Mike Talks Cars. This is an unscripted look into the automobile industry, vehicles, and emerging technologies. I'll be expressing my opinion, doing deep dives on specific vehicles, even some competitive comparison elements at times, and I will be doing how-to videos occasionally. The very next video, as a matter of fact, will be a how-to video on making sure that you purchase the right truck for the trailer that you're towing. It can be a help. Today's podcast is going to be featuring Tesla and the EV market here in North America. As always, I welcome your comments and I look forward to having a great discussion with you about the topics we discuss. Respectful comments are always encouraged. Stay tuned right to the end because I'm going to be talking a little bit about what Tesla's competition is going to have to do in order to attract customers to their showrooms and really get them to consider their EV vehicles. So let's dive right in. One thing I'm not going to do in today's podcast is talk a lot about Tesla's history. I'm not concerned about their history. I'm concerned about how they are competing as a car company in the electric vehicle market right now in North America. Their current apparent domination is the question. Many people are asking the question, are Tesla, are they really winning the EV wars that are going on out there right now? And if Tesla's winning, does that mean everyone else is losing, right? So those are the elements that I want to really focus on as we get into it. And when we ask that question, the immediate answer has to be that Tesla has a bit of a head start in the EV market. Now, I have a little experience with the EV market. Back in 1995, in September of 1995, I was a relatively young, still almost had some hair on top of my head, trainer for General Motors. And I attended, along with my fellow national sales and service trainers for GM, a dealer convention in Las Vegas, Nevada. While we were there, one of the activities that we were allowed to participate in was we went out to the racetrack there in Las Vegas, and they had a bunch of the vehicles that GM was releasing that year available for us to drive. Yeah, for any of you with an electric car background to you, you kind of can figure out where I'm going with this right now. Yeah, I got to drive GM EV1 on the racetrack there in Las Vegas. This was before the vehicle was released. Their first year for the EV1 was 96. I think they were available 96 through 98. It was a fascinating experience. I recognized that the vehicle was heavy and it didn't have a lot of, the niceties of a vehicle that we would enjoy today. However, it was so impressive that it accelerated very, very quickly. It was quiet. It was a unique experience. And let's say at that time, the fire kind of got lit under me where electric vehicles are concerned. Jump forward several years. I know GM took a lot of heat over taking EV1 off the market, but the things that GM learned by going through that entire EV1 program have come back over and over and over again as far as opening the market up to electric vehicles today. And that's kind of a big deal. So I give them a lot of credit where that is concerned. Enter Tesla. Tesla has really done a great job of, capturing the minds of those who would like to drive an electric vehicle. And the biggest reason, the number one reason why people purchase the Tesla product is kind of interesting to me. In my studies, many of them begin wanting to just be green, but once they've driven the vehicle, once they've been in it and experienced the car, It's because they love the car. And the car, frankly, whether it's an S series or a Model S or a Model 3 or a Model X, Model Y, whatever vehicle you're looking at, they have a bit of a reputation for just being a good car. So people who are purchasing it like the vehicle. It's those that want to naysay Tesla that actually come out and say, yeah, they're just fanboys of Elon Musk with all that Elon is doing and so on. Research says something else. It actually says that for those purchasing a Tesla vehicle and those intending to purchase a Tesla down the road, that Elon Musk is actually a bit of a detractor from that choice. And it is the fact that they like the vehicle that will ultimately drive them into ownership. That's a big deal to me, because if the vehicle isn't great, if it isn't good, then why buy it? Why live with it? Why put the money into it? Why spend the time learning how to recharge it, operate it, all those fun things? The reality of the situation is that my experience inside a Tesla is that it's very simple. Once you get used to the screen, once you learn how to operate that screen, driving the Tesla is very, very straightforward. And as a result, I think that's how they have come to the position where they are right now. Now, they also have the benefit of a huge supercharger network out there. In North America, there are over 2,000 supercharger stations and more than 20,000 superchargers available at those stations. It's incredible that they have built that type of infrastructure as quickly as they have. The other element for them, as far as why they've come as far as they have, as fast as they have, is their range. And I know talking about range is a difficult thing when we are getting into electric vehicles, because everything affects that range. The temperature outside, the road surfaces you're driving on, the terrain that you're going to be operating in, how hard you drive the vehicle, it just all has a role in there. But all things being equal, when you look at the overall ratings for the distances that the EVs out there can travel, and you put them in a big old spreadsheet, it shows that 9 of the Tesla versions out there actually have the greatest range. So what does this actually say about, are they winning the war? Well, at the moment, they're doing a pretty good job of staking their claim to their people. And that's a big deal. So we have to acknowledge that. Another thing that they are using as an advantage for them is the fact that they use over-the-air updates. So if somebody is driving a 2-year-old Model 3, they can go to bed at night and wake up the next morning and get into their vehicle and find out that it has a whole new feature. They have built the vehicle around being able to add things to the vehicle as they desire. And that has been a big selling point for those that have been purchasing Teslas in the past little while. Now, let's be really honest here, okay? Tesla hasn't always lived up to their promises. For example, it took them a lot longer to bring out the Model 3 than what they had thought it was going to. And for those of you who are looking at the bigger picture and are aware of the Tesla Semi, you realize that Tesla Semi was supposed to be in full production by 2019. Yeah. So while they've struggled in certain areas and they have not always kept their promises, the reality is that they're playing a winning game right now. And the fact that they are pure electric, that's the only thing that they do, has made a difference in the position that they're sitting in right now. So Let's talk a little bit about everyone else. When we talk about everyone else, who are the big players? Who are the people to pay attention to? Well, I actually called out 3 of them in the last video I did on electric vehicles, on the What's New for 2021 video. The fact is that those that stand to win the most, to move forward in a big way as far as EVs are concerned, are these 3 companies right now. Volkswagen. On a global scale, Volkswagen is huge, and the vehicles they build are solid. Whether you have a love for Volkswagen and German-built vehicles or not, the fact is that the new ID.4 is a beautiful machine, and it's something that you can really look forward to getting a look at, putting it on your list, checking it out. Volkswagen is going to come on very, very strong as we move forward. And I think globally, at least from a profitability standpoint, they stand kind of second to Tesla as far as being able to get there and get there in a big way. Their marketing power worldwide will definitely lead them there. Here in North America, they may not come on as strong, as fast, but don't ever count them out. Volkswagen is extremely strong and a strong competitor. The company that actually stands to kind of get there fastest from the major manufacturers is going to be General Motors. General Motors is doing a lot right now with EV. Of course, their Cadillac division is in the process of moving to complete electrification over the next few years. The new Lyriq will be released shortly. That's a fairly high-end vehicle and very beautiful, very much in the Cadillac line of things. But don't stop with their high-end stuff, like the GMC Hummer, for example, that will be out later this year as well. Those vehicles are very pricey, and they are out of the reach of the average buyer. When you move down the line just a little bit, you can see General Motors emerging with the EVs that people really want to drive. The Bolt has been around for a little while. It just went through a major update for 2021, and they have now added the Bolt EUV to the Bolt EV. And the Bolt EUV, a little more of a CUV or SUV-ish type structure to it and so on, should be bringing a lot of what people are looking for in this particular market. Everybody else is coming right along. Do not ignore Hyundai or Kia. They have a platform, an electric platform that will allow them to build and roll out numerous EV products over the next little while. And never count out Nissan. Nissan Leaf has sold a ton of vehicles throughout North America, but also throughout the world. And with their new Ariya that's just coming out in fall, I think we should see it fall of this year, they also have the power to be a real contender here in North America. So, where does all of this really bring us? It brings us to a point where when we talk about what Tesla's doing and how they are moving forward compared to everyone else, well, I think you can't compare, because Tesla is going to continue to do what Tesla has done all along. They have marched to the beat of their own drummer. His name happens to be Elon Musk, but they have brought out multiple vehicles. They are talking about the rollout of the Tesla pickup truck, which, while outlandish in many respects, has people lining up to pay money for it, to get ready to have the first ones as they come off the line. Do I think that it will find a mainstream spot for itself as far as a pickup is concerned? I'm not so sure. I see what Ford is doing with the F-150, rolling out a full electric vehicle later this year, from what we hear. I see that as being something more applicable to the everyday buyer than, say, a Tesla pickup truck. The fact that Ford has taken it the way that they have has been really impressive to me. They've gone to a full hybrid, which is available out there in the marketplace now, not in high quantities at this moment, but we see the truck coming, and what it means to the truck community is very important also. So trucks, full-size SUVs available as EVs, that's going to take a chunk out of Tesla as we move forward. They will have a little more difficult time competing in that particular area. And if you've taken a real good look around yourself in North America, you'll realize that we have a huge SUV and truck market going in our countries. If I were to look into a crystal ball and say, how are things really going to be 5 years down the road? What I can say is that the trajectory that Tesla is on at the moment, we will see the competition start to draw closer and closer and closer as we move forward. We may not see the competition be as profitable as Tesla in the short run, but we are going to see more and more vehicles that are accessible to the average buyer. Now, what does that mean from the standpoint of talking to today's customers and asking them about their intentions for electric vehicles? Now, I believe there are plenty of people out there that will give a nod to electric, say, I think I want to buy one down the road a piece, but are not confident that the electric vehicles that will be offered to them will do what they want them to do. And there are going to be some real die-hard internal combustion engine aficionados that will stick around with gas-burning vehicles for a good long time as we go forward. Let's do a quick recap then. Tesla has an advantage as far as people's perceptions of the product quality. They have an advantage as far as their supercharger network. They have an advantage as far as over-the-air updates and the ability to add features to their vehicles through those over-the-air updates. In addition to that, they have an advantage of being solely electric company. That's all they sell. They don't sell internal combustion engines. And that in and of itself will attract a good number of customers to them. As far as the competition is concerned, and this is kind of the part that I suggested you stick around for until the end, they're going to have to do a few things in order to really come up to speed and compete cleanly with Tesla. A couple of those things are, number one, they have to make charging on the road more accessible to the average driver. That means them getting involved in the fast charge networks that are being put out into the marketplace right now. Can't just sit back and wait for third-party companies to do that. They need to dive in and help to strengthen that network so that there is never a question about your ability to charge your vehicle in a hurry if needed and get on down the road. Secondly, they need to build visionary vehicles that really capture the imagination the way that the Tesla product has. When you sit down behind the steering wheel of a Tesla for the first time and you look around, it's almost disconcerting how simplistic the interior is. One screen, the steering wheel, and a couple of little levers, and that's it. There are no levers on the vents. There's nothing in there that makes you feel like you're in a traditional vehicle. I think that there can be a really nice blend between the ultra futuristic and the familiar. And the manufacturers that do the best job of finding that ground, somewhere between ultra futuristic, don't know why I can't say that word, and the familiar, are going to win the minds of the average consumer. So make it easy for them to be able to sit down in the vehicle and feel like, yes, I can drive this vehicle today and feel comfortable and confident doing it. The third thing that I think they're going to have to do is they're going to have to address the buying process that the average manufacturer has out there. When you compare their buying process to Tesla's buying process, it's night and day. Even though you can buy fully online from many of these manufacturers, the fact that when you go onto the Tesla website and you look at how straightforward it is to select your vehicle, make the choices that you want to make, and get out the door with the vehicle, they've done a really good job of reaching into this century and giving the buyer the option to purchase the way they want to buy. If the other manufacturers can get to the point that they can create a buying experience like Tesla, that is going to be a big part of what takes them, other manufacturers, into the future and allows them to catch up to what Tesla is actually doing. So, right now, Tesla, yep, you're leading. You're out in front. You're likely to be the profitability leader. You're likely to be the choice for many, many people that are out there for right now. But based on what we see coming from the competition, the vehicles are going to be there with a little tweaking to process, a little tweaking to the infrastructure, a little tweaking to how well the salespeople can interact with the buyer of a true electric vehicle, the closer they're going to get to you. So while, yeah, is Tesla winning the electric vehicle war right now and for a little while, but don't get too comfortable because the competition is coming. They have every intention of being able to put a hurt on your winning position. That's it for me. Thanks for joining me today as we've talked about the electric vehicle market here in North America. If you want more, just make sure that you have subscribed to the channel and hit the notification button as well. You can find me on YouTube at Mike Talks Cars and on your favorite podcast outlet for the audio version. Thanks lots. Bye for now.